Hello Virgo, and welcome to Ultra Instinct Tarot. My name is Andres, and I will be taking care of you for this reading. So I will be using these 3 books to help me out with the reading, as I really love the words that they use, especially since they're all describing the same thing, but they're all in kind of their own little language. I will also be using 3 different decks. Well, 4. There would be the Waite Tarot, the OSHO Zen Tarot, and the good old Thoth Tarot, as well as a creation of mine, the Office Oracle deck. So the whole goal for this channel is to channel our Ultra Instinct version of ourselves, just like Goku did. So to do that, we're just going to go with the flow and get started. I'm going to start here with the Emperor. Beautiful start to this reading, and he's looking that way, which is telling us we picked the right side to start with, as we're going to be going right to left. And this is the number 4, the Emperor. Yeah, this is you taking control of yourself with your own rules. You know, look at him standing there, or sitting there, just in his body, comfortable. This is the zodiacal trump of Aries. You can see all the fire. Alright, let's see. In the Tree of Life, he has path number 28, which joins Netzach to Yesod. So it joins victory to the foundation. It's this little path. The Emperor. Use all thine energy to rule thy thought. Burn up thy thought as the phoenix. Alright, so to get to the truth, you know, words are nice descriptive sounds we can make, you know, to get our point across. But at the end of the day, if I say, picture a tree, you know, every single one of you is going to picture a different kind of tree, one that's probably not even close to the tree that I'm picturing myself. So the word tree is a nice descriptive word to, you know, not put something in a box, but it's not what is. You know, the only way we can all think of the same tree is if I go that. Now, we're all picturing exactly that feather, you know, instead of a different feather, we're all picturing that. So no words, just so yeah, this is about the male fiery energy of the universe, the swift creative energy, the initiative of all being. The Emperor. Let's see what the Emperor is looking at, which is the Fool. So he's saying that. So just take a moment. See what that is. So Fool is number 0. The Fool is everything. Fool is God. Alright, here's more about the Fool. He is the elemental trump of air. So we got fire pointing to air. Know not, all ways are lawful to innocence. Pure folly is the key to initiation. Silence breaks into rapture. Be neither man or woman, but both in one. Be silent, babe, in the egg of blue, that thou mayest grow to bear the lance and the grawl. Wander alone and sing, in the king's palace, his daughter awaits thee. Interesting. So this is more about, getting rid of our thoughts, get rid of our imagery, our descriptive words of what is going on, because they're nice to know, but at the end of the day, they can't really explain what's going on. Be neither man nor woman, but both in one. Be the everything of what you are. So don't try to describe yourself, because describing yourself isn't really showing your whole totality, just being present. I think I'm not sure really what the story is, but I think that when Jesus was gonna be nailed to the cross and stuff, I think he was talking to one of the emperors, and then they asked him what is the truth, and Jesus didn't say anything. This is the truth that he was talking about. Truth can't be spoken about. Truth just can be seen, can be felt. Guidance. And they keep facing to the left. So after you kind of clear all this out, guidance is going to take you somewhere. Look at her, she's looking back. That's her, the fool. She's green, he was wearing green. So this is the fury start of you. And while you let go, everything that you think you are, you're going to be taken somewhere. Because these are also major arcanas. So all the lower arcanas, like this Three of Rainbows, which is the Three of Pentacles, all the human kind of way of thinking is we never do anything right the first time, so we kind of just keep going in circles and circles and circles. It's just us practicing, getting better at something. And so as soon as we understand, major arcanas go boop, and then they're gonna take you somewhere else. So this is probably where this is taking you, but I still want to read the booklet on this card. Which is the Three of Rainbows. The physical. Guidance. So the angelic figure with rainbow colored wings on this card represents the guide that each of us carries within. Like the second figure in the background, we may sometimes be a little reluctant to trust this guide when it comes to us, because we are so accustomed to taking our cues from the outside rather than from the inside. Yeah, and then the cues from the outside are just the same thing, they're words from other people, so it's never going to be the real thing, especially if we're talking about your inner self. Nobody knows you except for you. Nobody knows what you go through and what you think, how you feel. Everything that you've seen, nobody else has seen things exactly the same way you have. So that's why we got to destroy all of those outer, voices that keep telling us who we are, or who we should be, or what we should be doing. As soon as those go silent, your own inner guidance is going to come out. The truth of your own deepest being is trying to show you where to go right now. And when this card appears, it means you can trust the inner guidance you are being given. It speaks in whispers, and sometimes we can hesitate, not knowing if we have understood rightly, which is why silence is so important. But the indications are clear. In following the inner guide, you will feel more whole, more integrated, as if you are moving outwards from the very center of your being. If you go with it, this beam of light will carry you exactly where you need to go. You have to look for guidance because you don't know your inner guide is hidden inside you. You have to find the inner guide, and that's what I call your witness. That's what I call your Dharma. This is what I call your intrinsic Buddha. You have to awaken that Buddha, and your life will shower blessings, benediction. Your life will become so radiant with good, with godliness, more than you can possibly conceive. Yeah, because we can't see the stuff you can't put in the words. What do all those famous people say whenever they win an award? You know, words can't describe. I don't know the words to, you know, none of them. All of them feel so much feelings that it's just hard to describe. So it is almost like light. Your room is dark, just bring light in. Even a small candle will do, and the whole darkness disappears. And once you have a candle, you know where the door is. You don't have to think about it. Where is the door? Only blind people think about where the door is. People who have eyes and the light is there, they don't think. Have you ever thought, where is the door? You simply get up and go out. You never give a single thought to where the door is. You don't start groping for the door or hitting your head against the wall. Simply see, and there's not even a flicker of thought. You simply go out. Yeah, it's the same like with the tree and this feather. You know, I could describe it all I want, but at the end of the day, that tells everything that needs to be told. Morality. That's interesting. Guidance is bringing us to morality. And this is of the mind. This is the Queen of Clouds, which is the Queen of Swords. Which in the Thoth Tarot, I absolutely love the Queen of Swords, how it looks. But I think this is the same, just because it reminded me of the Queen of Swords in the Thoth Tarot, and that one especially. This card is all about, you know, she has that sword, and then she has she has a head. Here, let me just find it real quick. Queen of Swords, where are you? Let's find this Queen of Swords. Interesting. I'm trying to find the Queen of Swords, and the guidance. She's having a hard time finding the Queen of Swords. So the guide will take her right to the Queen of Swords if she really wants to, if she really needs it. Actually, very cool. Look at that, and I'm having a hard time finding the Queen of Swords. But it's probably because I'm trying to do it by myself. But with a little bit of guidance, we'll find her right away. So as you can see, she is the head, and she cut this head of the magician with his own sword. But this is all about truth, you know. So like, imagine the feminine really listen to their feelings. So it's kind of hard to cut someone off, because, you know, you understand that doing something like that will hurt them, you know. Or you might even understand why they're hurting you. But as soon as that Queen of Swords, even with her feelings, and even with listening to her feelings, and even with understanding this magician, if she starts listening to her mind, saying, we can't do this any longer, no more talking about our feelings and understanding, we just gotta cut it off. That's powerful, you know. Instead of a masculine energy who is really good at using their sword. You know, as we can see right now, it's like in business, you know, why do they say don't bring your friends, don't go into business with your friends? Is because business is all about cutting with swords and, you know, screwing people over, and that's how you will become the richest, you know, in the 1%, because you cut off all the 99%. So for a feminine energy, it's hard to do that. You know, that's why in business, even all the women need to, you know, put on the shoulder pads and be more masculine to be able to be successful in business, which I think is dumb. So if you have a feminine that knows their femininity very well and understands it, but is strong enough to know that there are times that you need to cut people off to, you know, for yourself, for you to still be whole, then that's a strong woman right there. It's a strong feminine energy that knows they will cut off if they need to, when they need to. Actually, I'm not even going to read that one. I just wanted to remind me of the Queen of Swords. And that's where our guidance is taking us. No more talking. Just flow. Cut if you need to. It's part of life. Oh, yeah. I don't know if this is the person that came across you, Virgo. Or if that's how you feel right now, too, you know. But channel that Queen of Swords. So you don't feel, you don't end up like this. This is all about oppression. Very tired. This guy can't even tuck. That's how oppressed he's being. The Ten of Swords is the lowest of the low with the sword cards that deal with the mind. So imagine if you have a sword, you know, and you don't know how to use it. You're gonna end up cutting yourself. You're gonna end up stabbing yourself, maybe, or even other people. Same, you know, you can hurt other people if you don't know how to handle your own sword, your whole mind. Which is why silence is very important. Knowing how to handle the sword is very important. Yeah, this card is talking about breakdown, defeat, failure, ruin, relief, and closure. So there's probably some closure that's happening. Yeah, because it's the Ten of Swords. It's going to turn into the Pentacle suit right after this. So following the Fool on her journey through the swords, we could see her coming to a painful end. She has found herself in conflict and under stress. Unable to harness the sword's positive energy, she found herself tempted by its power. She was left with paranoia and fear, knowing that she had used the sword unwisely. Her fears were finally confirmed, leaving her defeated. Yeah, see, they repeated that, using the swords unwisely. So channel that Queen of Swords, this Queen of Swords here. Here, I'll put her right underneath. Channel this Queen of Swords. Learn how to use that sword. Cut them off if you need to. Especially if you feel that this guy. Beginning of something new. Five of Swords. Yeah, this is more fighting. This is a lot of fighting. See how this guy, he stole their swords too. They don't have any swords over here. Maybe that's you walking away finally. Guidance. You're being guided though. So I know, sometimes it's hard to treat other people that way, but if you need to defend yourself, you need to defend yourself. If you keep giving yourself away, then there's nothing, you end up gonna eventually with nothing. Like there's nothing else, you're gonna have nothing to give away eventually. Take these swords and run. Yeah, this card is about bullying, deceit, aggression, intimidation. Aggression is suggested by the Five of Swords. There may be conflict, but no matter who comes out as the perceived winner, everyone loses. Yeah. It is that turn the cheek. Sharp and painful words linger even when the fight is over. Ego may be at a play here. Some may feel that the most important thing is winning. Even if the fool wins, trust and dignity has been lost. Every battle has its price. Yeah, in every battle there's gonna be a head that comes off. But that's the price, of battling. But it's also good to know and understand the battle so that when something else comes in that isn't all just fighting, isn't just, ruin, then you'll know the difference. You'll see the difference. You can see the difference between this card and this card. See the difference between this Five of Swords and a person like the Emperor. Yeah, look at that. They're both facing the same way even. They're all facing back. They're all facing to the left. They're all facing to the past. Except for this guy. This guy's done. And the Fool is staring right at us. which is a whole new beginning, and she's also looking back. So whatever it is that you're going through, Virgo, it seems, be more silent. It seems like you know what you need to do. You're being guided. So even if, listen and don't argue with the guidance that you're receiving, because it seems like it might be a little straightforward if you do listen, because it'll be obvious if you don't fight and if you listen and be silent and see things for what they are. Triumph. Triumph is this is I literally called this card Triumph, and I think that I don't even need to read the description for the card, because triumph will come when you do these things. Listen to the guidance. Be the Queen of Swords if you need to. Run away from people that look like that. Confidence, inner confidence is what you need. Yep. Look out, world, because old Pammy is getting what she wants, but don't call her Pammy. So be confident. Here, I'll read what I wrote for this card. I don't think it's much, but it's generally be more honest, be more confident. Start telling people what you want directly. I think that's exactly the perfect words to end this reading. Just tell people what you want directly, and if they take it as you cutting their heads off, then take your swords and leave. You got this. You got this, Virgo. I'll see you next time. Bye.